on Flosstube. Hi, hello, it's Jen here, not Cross Jen, over on Instagram and here on Flosstube YouTube where you have found me. Thank you so much for being here with me. Sorry, I'm already distracted right at the start because messages are flashing up on my phone. We've got a lovely couple of friends coming to visit us for hopefully a barbecue in the garden this afternoon in a couple of hours. Bubbles is also behind me playing with a mouse on the rug. Funny girl. So you might hear her thumping around a little bit. Okay, let me pop back over. And I do have holes in my leggings, yes. Yes, I do. But you're only seeing the top half of me really, aren't you? So it's okay. It's definitely okay. All right, shall we get started? So hello, it's Wednesday the 15th of July. This is my Flosstube video number 5, my 5th Flosstube video, would you believe it? So yes, I already said thanks for being here, but especially thanks if you've watched a prior video and come back to see me again. If you're here for the first time, my video number 1 is a whip parade where you get to see all of my whips at that point. It was the first video, so I was really nervous and I said a lot of which I'll say in this video too, but I think even more so in that first video. But it's a good one to see all of my projects. Okay, so Bubbles has actually gone out of the cat flap now. I can see her behind the French doors, behind the phone there. Good, we're nice and quiet. So, life update. It's been 2 weeks since I last filmed and my plan is to stick to hopefully a fortnightly filming routine if I can. So it's Wednesday again, which is my day off work, which I'm absolutely still loving the 1 day off each week. It's meaning I have to put in a little bit more work on the other 4 days, definitely. But it's all a balancing act really, and it's just on me because I'm a manager in my team. It's really up to me to say yes or no if I can't do things and try to delegate stuff downwards. So yeah, that's kind of its own little challenge, but I'm enjoying it. I'm definitely enjoying it. I love like the feeling of last night of going to bed thinking it's essentially a Friday because I don't have to be up for work today is amazing. But on the work front actually, I did meet up with 2 members of my team on Monday afternoon because our boss was driving back from Devon, so she actually stopped off in Portishead and 3 of us met together and had a coffee, just like an outside cafe, picnic bench type thing. But that was really lovely actually, really nice to see her. And she had bought us scones from Devon where her parents live, where she was coming from. She'd gone and bought fresh scones at the bakery that morning and a pot of Devon clotted cream. Which was absolutely brilliant. So as soon as I got home from that catch up with them, I rang Rob on the way and said I'm coming home with scones and cream. So we had scones and cream and jam, cream teas, which was just amazing. I've done my nails in this kind of garish for me pink colour and I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I think it's not awful. It doesn't help I didn't do a very neat job. I usually use Barry M nail varnish and this is a different brand, so it just didn't go on the same way exactly. So yeah, that's my pink nails and this is my J Scrabble Tile coffee mug, which I'm usually drinking from the R for Rob one, so you're honoured really that I chose the right initial this time. I'm not totally focused, am I really? Not entirely focused here. What else within life update? We've booked and paid for our wedding venue, which is amazing. So we got engaged on the 13th of June. It's now the 15th of July, and actually it was before even the 13th of July, so we were within 1 month when we went for the 3rd meeting at the venue, or 3rd time seeing the venue, and we paid because we managed to negotiate a bit of a discount if we paid up front, so split that across 2 credit cards. But that feels fantastic. So yeah, the wedding is actually booked. And Rob's been tinkering around with a website, which is really funny. So his surname is Hookway, and I've thought for quite some time really that the hashtag should be the only way is Hookway, and our website is the only way is Hookway. You won't get into it, it's password protected. So if you get an invite, you'll get the much coveted password to our wedding website. But yeah, Rob absolutely loves it. He's been he's just really into it. He's a bit, he's not groomzilla at all, but it's just funny because I've still carried on working. He's been a bit quieter with having some furlough time, not working as much. So yeah, he's had time to get stuck into the planning, and he really has. So yeah, brilliant. So getting married in September 2021. Okay. Let's do Q&A. So this is where I had a look at the comments from my last Flosstube video number 4, and if there were any questions, I will answer them right here. I will also go back and comment on everybody's comments from the last video as well. So please always leave me comments and likes and things. I absolutely love it, and after I first post a Flosstube for those first few days, I'm always checking in, logging in and seeing what people have commented or how many people have viewed it. So my most views is still for the first video for the whip parade, but then Flosstube 4 also was like the second most views, quite a lot, probably because I guess because it was called I'm Engaged, which maybe was exciting, so people wanted to see it. So I have thought I will do a little snippet of something in the title rather than just say Flosstube number 5 for this. So we'll see what I can come up with for that. All that to say, question and answer. So obviously my first question and comment came from my number 1 best fan, Nicola, who asked me if I have any plans to stitch a wedding sampler for myself, I guess. And the answer is yes, I'll definitely stitch one. I mean, I finished Spangled, which has the J and the R and the year that we moved into this house, so that's quite a love sort of a sampler anyway for us. But yes, I definitely will do something wedding-y. At the minute, the two that I like best are Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Happily Ever After, which I'll insert a picture of. And the other one is a Stitch Rovia one. So I stitched the Stitch Rovia, which is the big pink love heart, for my friend Natalia, who's the one that's actually coming over this afternoon. So I stitched that one, and I will actually insert a picture for you here of what that looked like. It'll be a picture of me holding it because it was huge once it got framed. Absolutely massive frame. Really cool. So I've stitched that Stitch Rovia one already, but Charlotte, the Woolly Hatted Stitcher, has stitched another Stitch Rovia quite recently in blue floss, and that one is really, really beautiful as well. So the Frosted Pumpkin one I really like because it's quite cutesy and it's got like Disney story characters in little scenes. Vignettes, I want to say. I've heard somebody saying vignette a lot on Flosstube recently. I don't know if that's really the right word for what I mean, but so I find that quite cute, but it doesn't really represent Rob at all, that one, because he's really not that into Disney. Well, that's not true actually. He liked Disneyland Paris when we visited there, but he really doesn't care for the movies as much. So yeah, perhaps the Stitch Rovia one will be the winner. Have I inserted a picture? Sorry. This is a picture of Stitch Rovia that you're looking at now, the one that I'm meaning. I can't think of the name of it, sorry. So yes, Nick, to answer your question, those are the two front runners for now, but I've got lots and lots to be stitching in the meantime. Oh no, I was supposed to do something before I started filming. So Karen, thank you Karen for leaving me a lovely long comment, and you've asked me if I've seen the Barbara Anna Christmas stitch along, which I haven't seen, and I meant to Google and research that before I came on so that I could tell you whether I liked it or not. So I'll definitely do that for you next video. You've mentioned it to me because of borders, because I go on a little bit about how much I love stitching things with borders. So I think I trust you, and it's safe to say I'm going to love it, isn't it? But why don't I insert a picture here so that people know what you've asked me about anyway. Once after this video I'm editing back in, and then I will make a note, a mental note shall we say, because I can't find a pen to hand, to have a proper look and tell you about that next time. But you had a secondary question for me, and you asked me how I'm finding stitching in hand, because I am stitching a birth record in hand. I'll show you it a little bit later on in whips. And how I'm finding it is really good now, actually. So this is the second thing I've ever stitched in hand. The first thing I'm doing is a Autumn Lane Stitchery silhouette piece. So it's pretty much all 310 with some glow-in-the-dark thread on there. And that's the first one that I started stitching in hand, purely because I was stitching it on the train to London for a day, a client meeting in London, and I had the train to London, a bus journey across London, and the same back. And I'd put my stitching hoop in my bag, and somehow the metal screw had come undone, and I thought I had just not packed it at all. So I was like, right, that's it then, I'm going to have to learn to stitch in hand. So I just kind of cracked on, and I was early stages in that project, so I could, I think, roughly get away with it. I mean, the very top corner where I'd already started, you can see my tension is very, very different to once I started in hand. But overall, it will kind of, the threads will fluff up over time anyway, because it'll be a long time before I finish that one. So that was the first that I was stitching in hand, and I was finding it quite awkward. I think my hands are quite oily, so I tarnish needles quite quickly, and I'm a bit of a sweaty individual anyway. Once I sort of do any exercise or go for a walk or something, I get quite glowy quite fast, shall we say. So the dimensions, the birth record that I'm stitching now, the Ada that came with that was a 14 count Ada, and it's really, really stiff, and stiff fabric is definitely better for me for stitching in hand, because over time the oils in my hand have really, really softened the KLT fabric that I'm doing the autumn lane piece on. So yeah, I think stiff fabric is easier. And yeah, I'll show you a close-up when I show you the whip, and I think the stitches are looking really smart, actually. I think they're really good. So I reckon that first autumn lane piece there's going to be a bit of issues with the tension. You'll notice some differences, but this, current one is going really well, thank you. And I just love it for the ease, I think, of a travel project. So I've been stitching the dimensions one in the car quite a lot if we drive anywhere. So Rob's quite good at driving and letting me have a stitch, and I find it, just, I don't know, for some reason it's just easier to pack something, isn't it, that doesn't have a Q-snap or a hoop being an awkward shape in your bag. So yes, so thank you, Karen, for those questions, and sorry I didn't look at the Barbara Anna before, and I'm filming this on my phone, otherwise I could have had a 2-minute look now. And then those are the only 2 comments that asked me questions, but as I said, thank you so much for everyone else that commented. I've read them all, and I'll come back around and comment on them too in reply to you all. I also wanted to say hello to Helene, who, I believe you're Helene rather than Helen. You'll be Helene. So Helene lives in Newport, probably not very far from me, and Helene, I'd love you to tell me how you found me on here, because you've popped up on my last Flosstube video saying hello, because you live local and were also involved with Gwent Cats Protection, and I've heard your name, so I know that you were the coordinator of the branch before Glynis was, so I've definitely heard of you, so it's really exciting that you're here. It's good fun, actually, and it's reminded me of how I met Nicola as well, my #1 best Flosstube fan and local stitchy friend, because Nicola came up on one of the UK cross stitch Facebook groups. It was showing me like Nicola's in this group, and I recognised her name having commented on some stuff in the Gwent Cats Protection group, so I clicked on her and it said yeah she's in the cross stitch groups and she's in the cat group, so I definitely just messaged her and said I think we better be friends then if we both like cats and we both like stitching. And yeah, that was the start of our fantastic friendship that we've got. So yes, hello Helene, thanks for being here. I hope you've come back to watch another one anyway. I don't have any foster kittens at the moment. We really are taking a decent break, and do you know what, it's really nice not to have to wake up in the morning and first thing go into the kitten room and do litter trays and sweep the litter that's got all over the room during the night and deal with them. I mean, obviously kittens are adorable, but it's such a lot of work, so I am enjoying the break, definitely. That concludes Q&A. Next would be finishes, but I don't have any to show you, so I can skip right ahead to new starts, of which I've got 1. Sorry, I'm trying to do this thing where when I say new starts, because I know I'm going to insert my little picture that says new starts to break up the video a little bit, that's when I should have a slurp of my coffee, but I'm a bit out of sync today, aren't I? I have 1 new start, and it is a belter. Let me show you. It's At the Met by Mirabilia, which I believe I showed you last time. Yeah, I would have showed you last time because the chart arrived. And then I can't remember if I told you guys that I was considering a skin conversion to a darker skin, and that would be for the diversity and inclusion SAL and the representation matter SAL that's going on at the moment. And of course with Black Lives Matter, I feel like I've said this, haven't I? That it just becomes really apparent that there aren't as many darker skinned beautiful ladies in our cross-stitching charts that are available to us, or sort of certainly not the ones that I've seen anyway. So that's what it's supposed to look like. So what I did was I had an evening last Wednesday the 8th, 1 week ago today, with Nicola. I went to hers, we kept the doors open, we sat in the dining room together, we had a cup of tea. I got in trouble for not putting my tea on the coaster. And Nicola's about 4 foot. That's an exaggeration, I think she's 5 foot, but yeah, she's tiny, but she was very, very clear that I needed to use my coaster for my tea on the table, so sorry about that, Nick. But we worked out together a complete conversion, certainly of the cross-stitching anyway, so beads and Krynic will sort of come a little bit later, but we've worked her out a conversion to a lovely darker skin and a greeny dress. So without further ado, if I move my needle out of the way, get a load of this. Oh my days. I'm coming right in there. So because of where I sit in the window, I think you're seeing her pretty true to colour there. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, and it helps if I sit behind, doesn't it, to stop the light from the other window shining through. So I'll hold that up so you can keep seeing as I tell you about her. So the skin has 6 different shades of peach in. Well, as charted anyway, the paler skin. 6 different shades, of which 5 were different DMC colours and 1 was a blend of 2 of the DMCs. So when Nicola and I were working out the conversion, we thought we needed 4 colours and then we could do 4 colours and the 1 blend, but it turned out we needed an additional DMC colour really. And when I got home and had a look at I wrote down some of the brown numbers that we chose, and then when I came home and had a look at my stash, the shading wasn't quite what we'd been looking at, because we'd been looking at a lighter, more reddy brown, definitely. But it's really hard to find 4 or 5 different shades of DMC along the same theme, the same palette. So there's lots of browns obviously, but some of them go to be a bit beigey brown or grey brown or yellowy brown. So I'm so happy with how she's come out. What I'll do is stop wobbling her around a bit. I will insert a picture here, which is a close-up that I took of her skin, and it's kind of the best chance to see it and to see how the back stitch works out, because I've actually stitched all of the face and the chest up here. This is all stitched and back stitched, so this is as good as it gets really until I finish her black hair and loads of beading, which comes all around the edges and in the gaps there, which of course I won't do until the end. So this is really the best approximation we've got now. So you can see I've done loads, I've really stitched loads, because I started down here in the centre somewhere and I wanted to get up and really quickly start this skin and see if it was going to look right or not. And I truly think it does. I think it is very, very dark, but as I said, I had a good scout through my DMC browns and I couldn't find sort of another palette with that many shades of brown in that worked, that were kind of close enough to each other. So yes, absolutely chuffed. The greens in the dress are like the 501 to 504 range, and then she has a sash, so coming across her midriff here, and then it comes like way down to the bottom of the dress as well. I call it a sash, I'm not really sure what else you'd call it. And for that one, I'm using like pale pinks, pale purples, and silvery colours, like the 456y silveries. And 3042 is that lovely purpley grey as well that's going in there. Do you guys all speak DMC as well? Nicola wasn't as well versed in DMC as I thought she was going to be. I was like, yeah, 3042, that'd be perfect. You know 3042. And she's like, which one is that? Which one? But in fairness to Nick, she uses a lot of Anchor as well. So we'll let her off not knowing her DMC numbers by heart on this one occasion. So yes, this is her. This is 32 count Zweigart Country Mocha linen, Belfast linen, I believe. Oh my goodness, we can hear a siren. Interesting. I don't normally hear a siren from the house. And these needle minders are from No More Lost Minders Facebook group. Lisa, lovely, lovely Lisa. So there's my Hufflepuff badger. And this one says, totally upside down, says, if you don't get my Harry Potter references, there is something seriously wrong with you. Excellent. Perfect. Love it. So yes. That's my beautiful, beautiful lady at the Met, who, now that I've got that far and I've done the face and I'm satisfied with it, I really like powered on to get that bit done. I'm kind of breathing a sigh of relief now and just looking forward to, at a bit more of a steady pace, getting back to the dress and bringing the dress right down and stitching her arms in as well. Okay, let's move on to whips. See, I drank my coffee too soon there. Okay, when I saw you 2 weeks ago, oh my goodness, sorry, more messages popping up. So my friend Lucy just came over and brought me a Big Mac meal from McDonald's in the garden. She needed to collect something from the house here. So we just sat and had the Big Mac, and she put her McDonald's bottle of water like in between her legs to open the lid, and it squished the whole thing and like fountained water everywhere, which went all over her phone. And I was flapping, and she was like, no, don't worry, it's waterproof. It's an iPhone 11. It's waterproof down to 20 meters or something. And I was like, how can it be? Because you have to plug your charger in and your headphones. Like, what? Surely not. And the message just popping up there was saying, OMG, I think my screen has a crack. So that's not good. Although why it would crack? Oh, I guess it fell down. I think it fell on the floor too. Yeah, it did. In all the kerfuffle of the water going everywhere, she did drop the phone out of her lap as well. So that might be why it's cracked, which hopefully it's not, or hopefully it's easy to fix. So anyways, where was I? Whips. So when I saw you on the 1st of July, 2 weeks ago today, for Flosstube number 4, I showed you my new start of Pandemic by Long Dog Samplers. And I've stitched a fair bit on this actually. So I will insert the mock-up for you right here, whilst I take a swig of coffee. Okay. And here is where I've got to. Well, first of all, look at the size of this fabric, which, by the way, is pretty much bang on, and the whole piece is going to fit in there. But yes, let me zoom right in for you. Why is that already? It's already got a fold in it. Oh, I suppose that's all right. No, you're missing the top bit. Ah, there we go. Okay, zooming it right in for you. So this is what I stitched, and I have to hold it right in because it's stitched on 28 count 1/1 full crosses. And I've used DMC 310, which is black, for those that don't speak DMC like I do. Fluent DMC, I'm not. And this beautiful DMC 115 variegated thread. So look at the different reds in that. That's a nasty clash with the pink, isn't it? Sorry. But yeah, I was really enjoying it actually. So each day that I picked it up to stitch on, when I first began, it was a job on the eyes because I've never stitched something so tiny. I've never done 28 count full crosses. So it was a bit tricky, but honestly, within about 10-15 minutes, I really kind of got in the swing of it, and I'm only using 2 different colours, and it's just lovely, you know, geometric repeating patterns, as long dogs are. So it's joyful, it's lovely. I made a mistake in the burb here, who I call a burb rather than a bird, which I'm not even sure where I get that from, but I think I'm funny. Someone on Instagram thought I was funny. I made his legs, or the body and the legs were a bit wrong, so I had to add a stitch at the bottom of the legs, so they don't look anything like what they're meant to. But then what I had to do pretty sharpish was stitch around the bottom. Because I fudged the bird, I needed to get everything around him placed in whilst I remembered that I'd fudged the bird before I came back and tried to count anything off it. So I've done quite a bit, and I watched Nad's X-Stitch on Flosstube, who is one of the ladies that started this on the same day as me on the 1st, and she was talking about finishing page 1 before putting it away, which she has now done, so you should go and have a look at her piece. She stitched it in paint box threads in sort of autumnal colours, and it's absolutely stunning. So when I was watching her, I was like, yeah, definitely, I'll do a page 2. So the page probably finishes a little bit further along here. It's not quite as far along as I've stretched the black there. And it comes down not too much further actually. So what, like if you extend that as a rectangle-ish, that'll be the first page, roughly, something like that. So that was the initial plan. And then Nicola and I decided to have a chat about the at the Met conversion, and the pandemic plan went completely out of the window, and without any kind of anything, any bluster or any reservations, I pulled this right out of the key snap, put the lady in, put the at the Met lady in, and just got started with it. So I will definitely come back onto this, just because I've already stitched so many whips this month of July. I don't like to have loads, so I will work more on this, and I will certainly work on this on the 29th for Long Dog Leap Day Sal as well. Right, let me stop faffing around with that. Oh, this is 28 count even weave from KLT Charting in rum and raisin colourway, so just like a really beautiful neutral. I love neutrals at the minute. I'm super into neutrals. So did you guys see Kate Sparkleys? She's a UK dyer, and a couple of days ago she showed 3 pictures of 3 new brownie neutral colours that she's dyed. I think she was dyeing them to order for somebody, and then she said they're beautiful, so I'm going to put them into the range. So I very recently cancelled my Sparkleys Fabric of the Month subscription. They're absolutely beautiful fabrics, but it was purely because I'm starting to be a bit careful about budgeting and money now. I'm doing my Stitch from Stash, and also they were quite a lot of bright colours, which are beautiful colours, but now I've got I've got quite a lot of fabric which is vibrant colours that will be beautiful for something, but I think I more want to stock up on neutral colours now that I can just use for anything. So cancelled the subscription to the Fabric of the Month, but what I think I might do is buy one piece, a fat half or a fat quarter of these 3 new lovely browns, each one a month for the next few months is what I was planning to do with that. And yeah, if you're not on her Sparkleys, I think it's called Sparkleys Addicts Facebook group, you should have a look at the fabric on there because it's amazing. And if you like neutrals like me. Okay, that was pandemic. I've already been nearly 27 minutes and still got quite a few whips to show you. So, boom, pandemic, good, right. Next whip to show you is Partridge in a Pear Tree by Joan Elliot, which I haven't actually taken out of the snap yet, sorry. I'm really not my usual totally organised self, am I? It's because I prioritise my Big Mac over my Flosstube fans, look. 2 secs. I'm going to unsnap it because I moved the Q snap, so the bit that's in the Q snap isn't the bit that I've done lots of work on. Okay, this needle minder, as I stab myself with the needles, which is ironic because it says feeling stabby. It's another one from Lisa at No More Lost Minders. Right, put the Q snap down. So, sorry, I've inserted the picture for you. I've shown you the picture. So it's a Joan Elliot piece for the 12 days of Christmas, which I adore, Karen, because look at the borders. And I say I adore it because look at the borders, but hey, look here where I've had to frog out a whole load of border that I went wrong. I had finished like all the red. I'd finished the red square coming down here to write 5. This was going to say gold rings, and I hadn't left enough space, so I was really cross with myself. So yeah, I frogged out a load of that, and then I came back over here and stitched some more down here for the last couple of days. And then yesterday, I think, I was stitching during, or it's before work and lunchtime kind of thing time, I stitched a little bit down here, and this is going to be the 6 geese a laying. 6 geese a laying? Yeah, that's the 6, the gold in there, the 6. And I also kept fudging. I can't count out, there's like this green, misses a few, stitch a few green, misses a few, stitch a few greens, and I couldn't get that counted right either. So I'm having a bit of a counting, frogging related issue with this piece. But it's absolutely lovely. Let me insert for you here a picture of where it was when I got this out and started. And then you'll be able to see how much I've done. And I've done quite a lot. So I've finished off the French hens. They're not actually fully backstitched. They're mostly backstitched. Just checking I'm not dropping this bottom of this in my coffee. I've done quite a lot of the gold, the Krynic, because I've only got 1 spool of that. And I'm wondering whether I'm going to need to order some more. So, and it's all, do you know what? I hate to curse it, but it's stitching really nicely, this Krynic, for some reason. It's number 4 braid. I want to say 28, colour 28, probably gold. So yeah, really, really enjoying that. So it's had a couple of days in the doghouse and out of the doghouse again when I keep having to frog, but overall it is a really, really beautiful piece. And what I'd like to do is to reach the top corner, which is only kind of around here. It's not much further to go. and really just make loads more progress on this whilst it's Joan, Elliot, July and Jolly July for Christmas stitching. Okay. So that was Partridge in a Pear Tree. Oh, and that's on 28 count even weave. Even weave? Yeah, definitely even weave. It's Brittany, I think. Brittany even weave linen in sand is the colourway. There's a bit of my felt that I use in the Q-snap, but yeah. Okay. Okay, then that's Pandemic, that's Partridge. Savannah Dimensions kit. So this is my in-hand piece that I was telling you. Oh, hold on, let me first of all show you. It's a bit glary, but this is the chart. It's a lovely gender neutral one, but the baby I'm stitching it for has already turned 1 year old a month ago. So yeah, it's a Dimensions kit. I'm using the Kit Floss and Ada, as I mentioned earlier. So it's a quite nice, pleasantly stiff Ada, which I wouldn't normally appreciate a stiff fabric, but for in hand I truly do. So I'll also insert a picture for you of where I was roughly around the 1st of July. Because I think I've done quite a lot. We've had quite a few car trips where I've picked this up and stitched on it. And then here is where I am now. So you can definitely tell that's a lion there. You've got some brown of the monkey coming in. There's quite a lot. Well, this is all like block fill-in of green. So again, that's another reason why it's fantastic car stitching. I need to finish the whole face now, is that beigey, that's not beige, is it? What do I mean? Not beige. Pale brown colour. Again here, like all of his body is filled in the beige colour. So yeah. Making good progress, but thankfully the other four big main animals don't have this completely full coverage background to them, because at the moment it feels like it is taking me a long time to get anywhere with it, but I believe the rest of it is going to go quite fast once I'm going. Excuse me. So yeah, that's that on 14 count Ada, my Dimensions birth record. Then yesterday, because I'd finished the face and the top part of my At the Met, and I knew that the skin, I was happy with it. And then I'd been making mistakes on the Partridge in the Pear Tree. I was a bit like, what do I even want to stitch today? And I wasn't quite sure. But then obviously what I came back to was full coverage stitching. It's just always a beautiful, soothing kind of easy stitching. I think just where I'd been making mistakes on the Partridge piece, I wanted something that I wasn't going to mess up. So I pulled out my All Cats Go to Heaven and Earth Designs piece, and I'll insert a picture for you here of the whole piece. And I'll start to show you where I am. I don't think I will give you a picture of where I was, because I can just tell you quite easily. So I've stitched pretty much this whole row. So if you appreciate that each of these gridded boxes is a 10 by 10, 100 stitches, I've done all of these 10 by 10s down here. And I think actually I was coming across the top. So I or zigzag my way along a page. So yeah, I finished this bit off here with the sawtooth edge, then coming back around, and I've come all the way back around here, and then I'm starting down to come back across this row now. And I've only used one colour, 3761, which is a dollar symbol if you're interested, on my pattern keeper for this. And you can see I've left a gap where the tip of the ear is going to be. So actually if I twist this guy around a little bit, then you'll be able to see where we are. So you can see the side on little kitten there is this big guy, and then I'm starting, oh, hold on a minute, no, that's the wrong side. Then over here, this is the next kitten that I'm doing. But you'll have seen a bigger picture anyway. I'm not sure why I'm making you guys squint into the little magnet. So yeah, a good probably 800 stitches added in that over yesterday and this morning so far. So yeah, I feel excited to get back on with that, because of course I stitched on this pretty much every day of May. Did I stitch actually every day in May? I might have stitched every single day of May, and then felt a bit burnt out, so didn't really touch it at all in June. In fact, I worked on my freebie Maui Princess Haid during June, but now I feel ready to crack back on with this now, power through. So yeah, love that one. That's stitched on 25 count easy grid or easy count Lugana. and I use 1/1 full crosses on that. So that's the smallest that I'd ever stitched before I got the pandemic out, with the 28 count 1/1. So you might be pleased to hear that's the end of the whips. Within haul then, one thing, and it's this. It's Jack's Bash by Plum Street Samplers. It's my first Plum Street chart, and I found it on eBay. It was for auction on eBay, starting at like £1 with £2 delivery, so I thought it couldn't hurt to bid on that. Let me zoom in right in for you. I like showing you the physical thing really, rather than inserting a picture if I don't have to. I just love it, probably because it's got lovely borders, and I love Halloween things, and I love the houses at the top. Somebody, I think Charlotte or Nadine, said they loved the lady and her big skirts at the bottom. I like the floral motifs around the edge. It's just awesome. So yeah, I was excited to win that. I ended up paying £6.49 for it, which also, I think that must have included the shipping. Yeah, that would have included the shipping. So I must have paid £4 for the chart, and then, I can't do maths today. Cannot do maths, but anyway, a few pounds is all I paid, so I loved it. And then now that I've received it, it tells me that the called for fabric was 35 count Abecedarian R&R fabric, which I've had a look at, but I couldn't really see a UK, well, not one of my usual go-to UK guys that had that in stock. But what I've actually done this morning is I've gone on to Lakeside and ordered a 35 count a Zweigart linen in vintage country mocha again, which I guess is going to be the same colourway as my Mirabilia is on a Zweigart 32 count. It'll be my first time stitching on 35 count, and it calls for you to use just one strand, and it's charted in Gentle Arts thread. So I've also sent a message to my lovely friend Sarah Marnie to see if she can sort me out with those, because she carries the Gentle Arts threads now, and she kitted up she chose me a colour scheme for Game of Swans. So that is my stitchy haul, and that's the only thing I've bought in the last couple of weeks until today, when I was doing some planning and realised I really want the fabric for that, and I want to get the Gentle Arts threads ordered. Sorry, I'm a bit forwards, aren't I? I keep chopping off my head there. Stitchy kindness then. So, right after the video last time, I realised in Stitchy Kindness I'd forgotten to show you one of the most amazing engagement cards that we received, and I can't find it. So don't hate me, Claire. So this is Claire Seaside Stitcher, cross-stitched us an amazing engagement card, and we got engaged on Saturday the 13th of June, and it arrived on the Tuesday morning, I think. I want to say Tuesday morning. I don't think it arrived on the Monday. It might even have been the Monday. It was super fast, and she'd stitched it. And I will insert a picture here of what it looks like. It's awesome. We just absolutely loved it. I loved it, and Rob really loved it as well. And he's not normally bothered by stitchy stuff, but he really appreciated how cute it was and the fact that it had been handmade for us by Claire. So thank you. The reason I can't find it, I can remember showing it to somebody. So you can see, look, we have a string of fairy lights still from Christmas, because we're a bit like Christmas all year in this house, or I am anyway. So we put the engagement cards all along the string of fairy lights that you can see there, and the gap is still there. So I must have taken it down to show it to somebody, and I'm really sorry, I don't know where I've then put it down. So one of these days I will actually physically hold the card and show you, so that Claire knows I haven't lost it forever. And that I know I haven't lost it forever, because I'll be distraught if I have. But yes, for now, you've seen a picture of it. So thank you, Claire. We were so excited when we got that. Also, thank you to Nicola and to all of the local Stitchers group, my group, who are now called the Inner Circle, because that's what Charlotte calls us to her fiance, Daryl. So thank you to the Inner Circle as well. So I had lovely engagement cards from those guys too. What was quite funny was so when I received Claire's card that says "You're getting meowied," which is hilarious because we like cats. I took a picture of it and like immediately sent it to Nick because I knew she'd appreciate it as another stitcher. And I said, look at this amazing card we've got. And then she replied like bugger or words to that effect and said that she'd ordered a card like that day or the day before online, which she'd personalised it to say Jen and Rob, but it said you're getting meowied and it had a cat, so it had the exact same message on it. So that was really funny. So I wasn't trying to say like you didn't get me your card fast enough or anything. I was trying to show her the lovely stitched card that I knew she would appreciate. And then I suppose the other stitchy kindness thing, just to mention, is when I went to Nicola's and I was putting my cup of tea all over the table with no coaster, she had pulled out pretty much like all of her DMC stash, and she's got a file with thread cards in so that you can like you can physically see and touch the floss, which is really helpful because I store mine in cat food boxes in little like, kind of like floss away bags, but they're not, they're just plastic snack bags that I buy from supermarkets. But it doesn't then let you reach around, like, yeah, it doesn't let you actually like put your hands on it and compare colours so easily. So it was great for Nick to let me do that with her. And she'd also pulled out all of her like bits and bobs beads collections, so we were able to start to pull out some beads, and she's basically let me come away with them. So thank you, Nick, for that, because it's really helpful to actually see the colours, because I'm converting the colourway so drastically from what it's supposed to be, from what's called for. I do also need to completely come up with different colour schemes of beads. So yeah, thanks, Nick, because I think what you've given me is probably quite a lot in terms of value of beads, and they're leftovers from various kits and things, but still I really appreciate that. So let's head on to plans. So my plans, basically I watched Jessie Marie's video this morning, so she hasn't released one for 2 months and I've been waiting so long, so I saw that was there this morning and cracked on watching it. And Jessie Marie does stuff on Flosstube, and her videos are quite long, but they're fab, and I love everything that she stitches, and I love how she stitches and how she stitches her full coverages. It's just so logical and neat and parked and lovely. I find something really calming about watching her, so I definitely recommend you go and check her out. And she inspires me to plan, because she always talks about her plans and her goals, and she plans to work 5 days on a project for the year, for example. So if she's done 3 days, then she knows she'll pull it back out again later in the year to finish off and do the other 2 days. So yeah, that inspired me to have a bit of a sit down this morning and think about my plans. And then that's why I said I've worked on quite a lot of whips in this last fortnight, and I don't want to work on too much else within July really. So oh my goodness, I'm now being tagged in something in my Fairies Myth and Magic chat because they've got something with a deadline. That's okay, we're nearly done here. I should probably turn off my internet, shouldn't I, when I sit down to do these things? Sorry, they're like flashing up over the top of the phone all the time, because I'm just ever so popular. That's why. Plans. So I'm going to keep working on pretty much all of the whips that I've showed you for the rest of July, and I really will start that Santa's Gifts by Joan Elliot. I'll make sure I get that started. She's tagging us with tags. I think basically we have to stitch as fast as we can to get rid of poison that we've just got, but I don't know. Hopefully we have to decide which clan to send it to. That'd be better, wouldn't it? Right. Yes, more work on all of the same whips. It's Jolly July, it's Joan Elliot July, so I will definitely start Santa's Gifts on the 31st of July, I've decided. Excuse me. And yeah, make loads more progress in the Partridge on the Pear Tree. I'm going to try to finish the page here of this cat, because then I think I've only got one more page and a little one to come, so that'd be amazing. I'm going to start Jack's Bash on the 13th of August, I've decided, for Dark 13 stitching. But you can hear all about that when I come back in 2 weeks, because that will be the 29th of July. So we'll still be in July then. So you'll have had 3 floss tubes in July from me. So I hope that you don't feel like that's overkill. Any feedback, any comments you've got for me, please add them on below. And yeah, talk to me, send me messages. It's a funny medium, this, isn't it? Because I'm talking to you guys and then the interaction I'll get back from you comes later on. But I love it and I appreciate it all. So thanks. Okay, and cheesy sign off here. Keep stitching.